up is going to be the Tristana taken away. With Corki and Tristana both banned, I do think the Nidalee loses a little bit of value. But we've seen a lot of teams go for a Hui, so you still have a lot of pressure in terms of ranged damage, but it does make the 2v2 a lot weaker.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And they're not going to pick jungle here. They're just going to take the Skarner. The Rumble already taken away. We have seen K'Sante be the very common answer nowadays to the Skarner, especially when the Rumble is off the board. So, I mean, perfect. He plays a good K'Sante. I feel like it's a very strong lock-in. Don't necessarily have to pick it here, but maybe want to keeping some stuff secret, as they will go ahead and lock in the K'Sante. And what are we going to see other than that? We did see a very high priority on Ezreal just yesterday from the Kwangdong Freaks, even first picking it on blue side. And they're going to lock it in.
Definitely one of the strongest AD carries in the current meta, but not so strong that it's banned every single game. Once upon a time, a hover of Zeri would have led to collective groans from a T1 audience, but I do think that they've been getting a little bit better at playing around it. Two very different approaches, as Guma obviously does love the Raven. My expectation is that they're just going to play for Zeri. Does have all-in pressure on Ezreal if he ever ease forward in a way that he shouldn't. Outside of that, obviously hard to lock him down, as it's going to just be the Azir here, which that is the one that catches me off guard a little bit. BDD should be happy to go towards a Yone, even though I think his individual performance wasn't necessarily that good. I like the Tali area because it both works well into the Azir, but you can still flex. So maybe you can draw another ban. This could, of course, also be a jungler.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty good.
Leon is obviously a really strong lane. My guess would be that that's what they're going to go towards. We'll see. Nautilus wouldn't surprise either. And instead, it's looking to be a barrel last pick here, with Pioshik locking in the lead.
Yeah, this is what I was saying before. You can hold on to counterpick once you see what the bottom lane is. But as you were mentioning, this does leave, a lot of strength. It leaves the Leona available, leaves the Nautilus available. Maybe they say, okay, we'll just take one of those. There's a lot of things left in the support role, so we'll just let you take the Leona, and Beryl can play whatever once he knows exactly what the lane is going to look like. So they get that powerful Leona on the side of T1 with the Zeri-Leona combo, as now we're going to see the mid laner, or rather the jungler, for the side of T1 looking like a Nidalee for now, and there it is.
Not surprising, not the best Nidalee draft with Azir in the mid lane. That obviously is a little awkward as your double AP, but you do have the setup with the Leona, with the Skarner, to at least have some spears. I think it's an amazing Nidalee draft, but I don't think it is the worst either. And again, T1 does love playing aggressive, and Nidalee slots into that game plan as I really like the KT comp. I think the Lee is the only oddball out here, where Pioshik, I think his main job is going to be just get you to the point of the game where you can rely on your extremely solid front line. And if you're in a front to back, maybe KT can stand up, but they do going to have to get through the lanes. And that's where I think things aren't looking too bad realistically, right? You should have a lot of lane pressure in bot with how strong Ezreal is, outside of the first few levels because of Alistar's weak level 1. And then both in mid and top, I definitely think that it is playable. We'll see if KT can actually utilize that.
We hop onto the Rift.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
You know what I think it's time for in our next game, Bell.
I know exactly what it's time for.
We bring it back.
We prepared for this moment.
Because I am 100% sure that the arena was erupting while this was happening. But if we don't have an audio feed, we got to do our own fan chants again.
And there's a chance that the stream could hear it, but we couldn't. So we'll do it, and we'll try to get confirmation on that as well. Like I said, we have prepared for this moment. We've had some times in our life here at the LCK. And yeah, I think this jungle matchup is going to be very important. Owner on the Nidalee, though, is so incredibly annoying to deal with. It is one of his most strong picks in the current meta, and he was able to pick it on blue 5. Blue 5th pick, after seeing everything, after seeing his opponent's jungle pick as well.
For
the Skull Crab. Well, the spear is going to land, and now a chance to smite it. Yeah, Owner's going to get that smite down, as the knockback also going to miss. As they do engage on a carrier, but that is a Leona.
Barrel!
The flash over the wall as Barrel makes the play! And first blood goes to KT. FAKER isolated and will go down. It's 2 kills to KT early on in this game. See, we're all in together on that play. Speaking of which, we got a nice little pulverize on it too. If he lands the stun, yeah, that's the barrier utilized from Guma. He knows he's under a bit of pressure here, especially with BDD down in the bottom lane. There's no flash for Carrier, but he will just walk away from that one, utilizing very well the walk strategy just to survive. Awkward for him, and Deft is going to go on a back finally.
That's tear and cheat. That's the dream, you know?
Dream.
You don't have to make a trade. I actually got 2 long swords as well. You don't have to make a trade-off of, do I get one or the other? I also want to highlight that they do get the crash, so Deft will be missing a bunch of minions here. I'm not 100% sure if this was on a cannon wave. They'd have to back eventually, so that back timing is a little bit rough. It's also, I think, the reason why we see that Guma is sitting on more XP.
On farm. This first Drake, though, will go over to KT, as they have total control over the bottom side river.
Deft firing off his ultimate as well, just trying to maintain pressure on that wave, even in a 1v2 scenario. Do want to highlight, like, we're talking a lot about KT, because I think KT already this early look way better than what we've seen of them thus far in summer. If you look at the T1 comp, their team fighting is still going to be insane, right? So for me now, the question becomes, can KT maintain his pressure? And a 4-man dive will be a great example.
This is a lot of pressure, yeah, I like the word you use, as they're trying to turn on the Deft, though. He's so low and he will be taken out, as no stun goes on a Guma, and BDD can't even get the kill. Flash rock, no, he misses. And Carrier, well, he's probably going to go down here, but they don't get Guma, and a 1-for-1 trade in a 4-man dive is not what you want to see. Guma also picking up a kill.
Oh, really big there. As, the setup.
Yeah, trying to make this play onto the Cassante. He does all out the Skarner under the turret, and now Zeus has to flash away. Going back in onto the all-out Cassante. Not sure about that one. Impale on a both. Do they have the damage? So perfect. Goes in, assassinates the Nidalee, and now he's totally fine. Zeus with 0 mana. And eventually he's just going to die. I mean, there's nothing he can do here with no mana, no health. BDD picks up the 2nd kill. Put in from the T1 home ground, so you know the cheerleaders are going in and the fans are chanting, trying to get T1 back on the horse here. But at this moment in time, KT, they've risen to the challenge. You know, today's the big day. They've had a really rough couple of weeks, 3.5 weeks, you could say. Or I guess 2.5 weeks at this point. And just trying to get their first big win here against T1 after they got their first win.
I'm just saying, Valdez, KT challengers did beat T1 challengers in this very arena today.
And missed his Mystic shot on the cannon.
I tried to ignore it.
I saw you were looking away from here. T1 the expected winner in this matchup. They lose game 1, come back and win the series. Could happen.
I'd sign up for that, though. That's still I could already call this a win for KT, as long as, you know, nothing colossally rough happens. With
there's one unfortunate loss for KT
again?
Already,
right? Like, it's a heavy investment, but I don't think they will. Perfect's able to just make this happen, and I imagine they know that the Herald is being taken towards the top side of the map and want to try and go for a cross map.
Well, they're gonna try now, flash for flash. As now even Owner's going in there. I don't know what Barrel said to these guys, but they're really trying desperately to capitalize on this Alistair with his ult down. Zeus is having a lot of trouble dealing with BDD under the turret right now, and BDD actually gonna wall on in. He wants more. He wants the kill, but he cuts it short and jumps off the wall a little bit early, so maybe not wanting to over push for that.
Yeah, don't be distracted by things that T1 have become known for, is the ability to find uncannily good team fights from a deficit. This deficit isn't even that big, and it's exactly these type of positions. But you do see KT, they actually read this pretty well, right? They're very aware that T1's going to be looking to collapse, and Barrel, he's Deft's bouncer.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of trying to get this mid-tier 1. They're not going to quite get it. You see it's living on like 50 HP at this point in time.
But outside of that, might be a little bit rough, as we do see the mid lane turret now full, so that's a big win for KT. Will, again, build up that gold lead a little bit. I don't know if T1 is going to be interested in actually contesting this dragon, though, as lot of pressure on Perfect, but they do know this is happening.
Yeah, they really want to turn this around. Do KT, the all-out goes in on Owner. They're going very deep for this one. Perfect getting very hypey with it, and now Beryl in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to go to the Unbreakable Will as they overcommit to that one. Not expecting as many members of T1 to be there, but the entire team did rotate up to the top side, including that TP from Zeus to make that play happen.
KT read the play, think that they have the numbers advantage. T1 is being a little bit slow with setting it up, but just Perfect and Beryl isn't enough damage. If Deft hits his ultimate there, which wasn't his fault, right? Like, it was just the angle of being dragged by Perfect that didn't allow him to hit it. That maybe could have been a difference, but they didn't have enough members. Now the goal's going to be basically even. Yes, KT will get this dragon, but it really does feel like they could have probably done that and just have Perfect rotate very quickly, but I like this.
Whoa, the play on a Faker is huge. Will he die though? He just flashes and he dashes away. He's totally fine. Meanwhile, Keria and Guma, I think we're doing some damage to Beryl there, but he is Alistair with a Celestial opposition, so he doesn't take much damage. But yeah, Faker does have to flash away from that one, trading with Pyoshik.
Do you think that's still a win for KT? Looking for these practice plays, definitely a good call as Keria?
Yeah, he's going in. I mean, he can't get out at this point, so just trying to open it up for Guma, but down will go Keria, and now Guma's got to run away. So that's a pick onto the support here of T1. Sail wide, so a lot of poke coming in. Onto Beryl, onto Perfect, even BDD taking a big chunk, but now the damage onto this Dragon getting pretty low. They do want to get this Chemtech Soul before the fight, but Perfect goes low. There's the Chemtech Soul, as Beryl doesn't have his ult, and now the flash on in, and down will go Deft, who had flash available, just gets assassinated, and Beryl will go down too. So the Chemtech Soul does go over to KT, but it's 2 kills for T1, and should absolutely be the Baron.
100%, unless Pyoshik can get a miracle steal here. That probably is going to be the trade we were talking about. Mid lane turret going over, 2 kills going over. And T1 picking themselves up the Baron, and yeah, no, he's still not getting there. Realistically, the moment that he just sticks around, there's no way. As Zeus doesn't care about walls, and if he doesn't get that, they don't get Nash. Like, obviously KT is low, but I don't think that there's a way for them to hard force a fight and to not run the risk. There's a lot more threat on KT. Deft is their biggest damage dealer, as we saw earlier, together with BDD, so him being gone is a big loss. Interruptibility, it's nice, but there isn't. I think they will end up losing this inner in the 15 seconds. That's fine. That's not bad at all. Yes, you're still in a deficit, but it's not the end of the world though.
Yeah, the timing of this is pretty good. I mean, 30 seconds until the Drake even spawns as, uh-oh, he's going to get knocked by the wall. That's the teleport down. And Zeus is like, well, I guess I'm dead.
He is.
Let's see how long this does take. I mean, if it takes 30 seconds, maybe T1 just go for the Elder, though.
He is scar. Oh, look at that. KT are realizing, like, we don't have the time for this. Well, I think they do. I think they could have killed him.
Well, they're just going to let him go. Now, and that's a problem.
That's the worst target out of everyone for them.
Yeah, it's perfect. For Owner to hit that onto him, as now it's just going to come down to a straight up Elder flip. Macro out the window.
Keep him out.
This is just what they're going for. Look at Perfect's health bar. They're just going to impale Deft in again as he doesn't use flash again. And Pyoshik is not going to be able to get it. This game is over. Everybody on the side of KT just going to be isolated and ripped apart as T1, they get the Elder, they get the fight, they will get game number 1.
It is not Challengers, baby. It's just LCK. As KT, they get close, but that fight, basically everything went wrong. Deft eats a spear, gets impaled, Pyoshik doesn't get the flip, Perfect goes down before the fight has well and truly began. And it is going to be T1 going up for a much better showing, but game 1 still going as expected.
And so, no Ezreal for Deft. Rumble first pick. Perfect, definitely very good at that pick. And then Zeri and Azir. We've seen this combo before in many metas.
I gotta say, the extremely high priority that is being placed by T1 on Azir, despite the fact that a lot of teams have dropped him in the priority, is really interesting to me. Also, LCK teams have been very happy to just play Rumble into Skarner every single time, so they shouldn't come as a surprise. Are we really going to get like 8 AD carry bans? Is that what we're heading to? Yep, there we go. Okay. I do like the Lulu ban. Are they just gonna go like? I don't think
Aphelios
is good.
Jinx. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking of Aphelios actually, but Jinx with this type of setup, not the amount of peel that you'd like to have. I think ideally with a Jinx composition, right? Jinx Kench, Jinx Fresh is normally what we see. It's kind of the opposite approach where Vi and Talia are going to try and get a kill for you, and then you just pop off. And the amount of damage that the KT comp have is absolutely insane. A lot of team fighting power there as well with the Leona and the Rumble. And a really strong mid-jungle 2v2. But a lot of that was the case in the last game. The early game was good.
For the rip for game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Yeah, so Chronicler, we missed our chance. We had to get it done in game 1 if we were going to do the fan chance. As now we have the crowd audio.
This is better, Veldes. I liked the fan chance. That video, the YouTube video of the supercut, incredible. Especially the commitment to also take the ones that we messed up one way or another and just put them back to back. I love listening back to it. It is very funny, even though obviously it was a bit of a darker time with the DDoS attacks.
Yeah.
But now we have an entire audience for just a regular season best of 3, and we should enjoy that. We do have BDD swapping up his skin. As I am pretty sure this is this Star Guardian? Might be a Star
I think
Guardian
it is.
Pro.
You don't have to cut if they're tater tots. Meanwhile, on the top lane, perfect. Uh-oh, he's just going to burn down. That is first blood. Going over to Zeus in the Skarner versus Rumble matchup.
Seen this before. Skarner can be deceptively strong if you let him. So the big thing here is Zeus plays really well around his level lead. So hits level 3 is going to be up a skill compared to Perfect, and then Perfect.
You want to get value out of that.
Not getting tilted after a obviously pretty big mistake here early on. And he shouldn't, as I love this. KT should realistically be looking to get all these grubs, because you have Rumble. That ult spike is insanely strong, especially if you rotate over the members of your team that can provide setup. Perfect, keeping his ward safe as well. And I think T1 make the right call here, end up getting the back. There's really, I think, a great opportunity with Deft having the Summers up to try and look for a dive, especially because Owner is towards the top side of the map. Not going to be the case. And KT pick up the first cut and should be able to just get all 3 grubs here with the protection given. It's a nice win for them.
Yeah, feels very good. We've seen BDD trying to hit seismic shoves against Faker, and it's just not happening. I don't know. He's not able to hit it. Faker's dodging a lot of them.
Relatively close, so Owner not going to run the risk. There's also no ultimate on Guma, which I think is a good call. As what we saw there, I really like the Viego pick into the Vi because it denies a good target, right? Like, you just can't, as long as the Viego knows what he's doing, can't reliably lock him down with ult. I do think that, as we see there, in these type of matchups, whoever gets the jump on the other one is always going to feel great. So there, Pioche got the time to charge a Q and actually hit Owner. For Owner, it's the same. He's waiting in a brush, and he gets to get his W. Might have to, as they are coming in.
Do they not see them? I mean, this is going to be really big. They get the kill on Aguma for sure. And they're going to hand it over to Deft as well. So the Jinx already starting off excellently here. A little bit down on CS, but he has a call, and he just got a kill, so that's a pretty big Jinx already. Mid lane, and Owner is angling towards the top side, but that's the 4.
Basically saying, we're going to trick the dragon now.
Faker just going on in, wants to take a 1v1. He has Owner coming over as well. BDD in a bit of trouble, does flash, still dies as Owner takes him down. And the 2v1 is set up there in mid.
That is going to be a 2 Drake lead here for T1, right?
I mean, BDD does have TP, but I don't know if they can delay for 15 seconds.
Oh,
wow.
Double TPs.
No TP, and Carry is just going to charm everybody up. The SERIE, nice angle, but they do just press the R button on him, and Guma just burning to a crisp as the Drake. We were right, it does go the way of T1, but a big fight potentially. Over to the side of KT as the Impale here. Zeus just trying to peel for the team. Carry decides, well, I'm dead too. He's going to go down. As FAKER just going to flash the wall, trying to survive here. T1 getting the Drake, but it is a huge fight for KT.
Hard 1v9ing a team fight because the amount of roasting he was doing there, absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I mean, the Vi ultimate was put on the very edge of the equalizer as well, so I believe Gumo was just burning the whole time, and
and then he got queued back into it, I think, as well.
Yeah, I mean, imagine a world where you don't have the Vi to hold him down on that. He just dashes away from it and keeps his distance. He's going to be doing insane amounts of damage, can kind of push them away. But, yeah, I mean, the power of the pick, we've seen it so many times.
Continuously try and accelerators. Oh my god.
You think they care? You think they care about the Viego? No, it's just a dead FAKER. And they use a lot to get him. But it's a kill, and it's tempo, and it's trying to really utilize every piece of their kit in this composition.
Deft by himself, holding off the mid wave, whereas the rest of his team now towards top 4. Grubs ended up being taken. Pioshik didn't want to run the risk of trying to play for more earlier on.
Are they going to send it?
No, I think they definitely shouldn't. They don't have that much control in the enemy jungle. But Perfect's able to catch the bot wave. That's a really big win for KT. Do remember, though, we got to see what happens. Thus far, the 5v5 keep that up.
Oh, going for Deft here, and you know what? I mean, there's the Impale just barely out of range. They get a TP, though, and a flash, and a cleanse out of Deft.
They want to play straight up 5v5s, right? They want to have someone flanking. They want Pioshik in the back line. They want to try and create as much chaos as possible and keep him in his corridor where the equalizer can do a whole lot.
So Barrel's going to go in. The TP immediately channeled here as a lot is used to try to get on top of Owner, but he just gets away with his ult, and now it's a 5v5 without equalizer, without the solar flare, as now FAKER's coming in. Carrier also going to proc that ultimate. SERIE over the wall here, but a lot of low health bars on the side of T1, and now getting into that backline is Perfect, doing so much damage, and now FAKER and Guma have no front line anymore, as everybody just died outside of those two. They have to back away, and KT get the Drake.
KT step up from game number 1 where they weren't able to fight the team fights, win 2 back-to-back, 1 4v5, 1 5v5, with Perfect roasting them. And they're going to try and take the Baron here. A T1 Classic 20 minutes in. We'll see if they're able to pull it off. There's no jungler, but there is a lot of damage. And oh, this is very early.
It is very early, and Guma's going to try to poke them down. Carrier and FAKER also coming over the TP as well.
God.
From Zeus, this is getting so spicy. Pioshik, though, is able to get the objective. Should be at least 2 kills to the side of T1 as they take down both Pioshik and Barrel. But Carrier looking for a bit more. BDD. Somehow he did not get knocked off that wall. Maybe he had a shield or something on top of that, but either way, actually, from this far ahead, they have so much damage that if you pick anyone, you know, even the Skarner at a certain point, if you have enough penetration, you're just going to blow them up, and you have so much to follow up on it that you don't necessarily want to target him, but it gives you a lot of freedom in terms of...
There's Talia. I'd have wanted to look for a different angle because right now, it doesn't feel like T1 are getting any of the fights that they're looking for. And now we're getting to the point where before I'm like, if Deft dies, you know, I think KT might be in trouble. That's not the case. Like, BDD, Deft, and Perfect all are perfectly capable of just 1v9ing a team fight.
Well, they're trying to go on a Zeus. They're trying to test my theory, and you know what? I think it's going to work, especially with the Talia wall. They can pick anyone on the side of T1. And FAKER, you know, he's doing his thing over on the left side of the map here. He's trying to trade an inner turret, and he might just be able to. Only 14 seconds left on the Rebel Baron power play, but KT are going to utilize that last little smidgen of it, and they should be able to take this inhibitor. And look for more. Actually, they're going to force the TP out of FAKER.
Deft is excited.
They will get it.
That's a bot lane in it. A really good Baron power play coming through here from KT. Able to... That's enough. Didn't use the equalizer, crucially. That's the cooldown we're going to be looking out for is Perfect.
Yeah. The wall is good. Zeus isolated once again. We're fighting over a singular Chemtech Drake as the Impale. This time pretty good, but the follow-up's not there. Finally, Keria gets in, but look at the damage already as Faker goes in. They take out the Jinx, but now the Rumble is just melting everyone. As he is full health, Guma desperate to try to do something, but it's not gonna matter. You talked about it, Chronic. There's so many threats on this KT roster. From this far ahead, they will absolutely destroy you, and that might just be the end of the game.
And the telecom war delivers, Feldes, as we're about to go to a game number 3. KT got control in the early game in game 1 and then weren't able to close it out. And when Perfect died, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to see, but he bounces back. Pioshik on the Vi has an incredible performance. BDD's walls were great. And we're going to game number 3. Yeah. Obviously, guys, this draft has already been done, so everything's going to be snappy. But we knew that Tristana was immediately going to come through. So the Viego, I think, is preemptively a pick to give the possibility of a Vi less value. Owner hasn't really been as enamored with AP junglers outside of Nautilus is still up. So my expectation would be that it's probably going to be Ezreal Nautilus as it turns out, Owner going to be playing Zyra here, and it's Braum to finish off the draft. R5 Braum here for Beryl. Oh.
I don't know what to expect from that.
Okay, this is a bit too many curveballs with the speed that this draft has gone.
Yeah,
so
I just allowed, there wasn't a lot of time. I didn't get to talk. I was writing the whole time.
Oh no, you have to. Okay, gut feeling, Feldes.
I mean, I think T1 are very far ahead in this draft. I don't think the Braum does a whole lot, to be honest. You already have a decent amount of engage, or rather range on the side of T1.
But it's pretty narrow. Maybe the level 1 invade to flip the game with that Braum. Could be an angle, Feldes.
Let's see how it goes. Let's hop into the rift for game 3.
Oh, KT fans.
KT fans are going nuts. I mean, they were definitely a bit more quiet, but they were the intensity of it.
It was visceral.
Yeah.
Feldes.
They know they have to make up in terms of quantity, and they did a great job. Faker is, well, he's found the enemy team. There is a Braum there. Beryl absolutely going to flash there.
It's the level 1!
Faker, and you know what? Over the wall, that's the stun. Faker's dead!
It's the level 1!
And it goes to depth as well! And
Guma.
Guma,
Get another?
one auto. Yep, there's the
Gonna
stun.
have to use his cleanse at least.
That's the cleanse, and now he's going to be late to lane. Faker should know about the Braum level 1.
The question is, can we get anything out of it, as Faker did just go in.
Yeah, he's going in. I feel like he's almost trying to make up for what happened earlier, but that's going to put him behind even further as BDD picks up the kill. No flash for Faker, hops in, immediately punished. As Pioshik, it was like the perfect timing for him to go back, buy up, and run straight to mid lane and get the gank.
Early grubs are going to go over here as expected. T1 clearly not wanting to contest for that. Deft also is in the great position of not facing Skarner this time around. He also had
it and trying to get some pressure around the Drake, but Beryl just kind of had to stand there, and they were denied of any real entry into the river. As there is a Skarner here. Owner is in a lot of trouble. He gets knocked up against the wall. The Impale is going to miss, and so they'll just stop there. So kind of unfortunate for Perfect. The angle was a bit off. Keria is being bullied a little bit, but Owner over here with Faker.
Yeah, at the very least should be able to get flashed there. Negative engage realistically.
Uh-oh.
If you get somewhere first.
Yeah, Pioshik getting on top of Owner. He's just gonna throw his whole kit on the ground, tries to flash over to Zeus, but now the Impale gonna catch him, and Owner goes down. A lot of damage being done by the All Out, but now BDD comes over. He wants more, he wants blood, he wants to take down Cassante, and that he will. Perfect picks up the kill. It's 2 more on the scoreboard to KT.
KT Valdez This team has defied expectations, both in negative and positive ways, so many times. But is it actually happening after the
playing against Skarner, which for some reason was his counter on Ezreal? But this is a different situation, you know. And KT, they got that win in game 2, right? It does feel like they've kind of shaken the jitters off the big crowd there over at the Goyang Sono Arena. BDD actually has picked up 2 plates now, and he's looking for a third. I mean, this is really widening the gap in gold right now.
And the big thing is, because of those earlier kills they found on Owner, they got 6 grubs. Like, that is an insane amount of power for BDD and Deft specifically. Deft as his W, BDD obviously with the Nashor's First has an incredible amount of attack speed.
Faker can't defend this alone.
No, and he'll be able to make it out still. As
4 plates.
They might just take this straight up.
5. A turret before 14.
The grubs.
Carrier's getting in there, and the grubs, they get it, the first turret, and all of the plates before 14 minutes. Carrier desperate to try to stop them, but instead he's just going to go down. Guma has to get away from the Impale, and Perfect is very tanky. He's still getting in there as Carrier finally will be taken down. The reset comes in, and now the rest of the team is getting baited into this one. Although Zeus is coming in from the top lane, gets the all-out on a Pyosik, who is in a bit of trouble. Does get over the wall there, but he is going to go down. It's a double kill over to Guma. And did KT overextend as BDD finally makes his way back? He's looking for a bit more as Guma will get away. Zeus' stun does come down, but that is Cassante, ladies and gentlemen, as he will get away. Faker, meanwhile, was back here, and he'll hop away.
The pilot out, and because of his ult, doesn't go down until much later.
Uh-oh.
And then, oh no.
Well, walls aren't real. Not against Skarner, and Owner's in a bit of trouble, but he drops down the ult, and now the follow-up comes in from T1 as Pyosik has to flash away. But here comes Deft, he's doing a lot. Faker trying to pop him out of this fight, actually, but the first kill will go on Aguma. Faker does get the assassination, but Pyosik is Zeri, and now he has gone back into the Viego form as the Impale again is going to miss. And I mean, I don't know how he keeps missing it, but it's okay. He's got some rocks to throw, and he's going to throw it into that front line, into both of them. There's no escape for the 2 members of T1. They will both be killed by Pyosik. And that is 6 kills now for Pyosik on this Viego.
Rome as well, like, it doesn't matter if KT doesn't have great engage, if T1 is just walking into fight and skirmish after skirmish. Because if you can just get 1 kill and weave in and out, like that fight started with him at 20% health.
Yeah. That's fine.
But shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of an issue. I mean, KT just got such a huge lead, and they have the confidence they can beat T1 because they won in game 2.
I love that highlight on the experience there as well. Owner is playing Zyra into Viego. Like, obviously, the gold is going to be skewed because of how fat Pyosik is.
They want to get on top of a Cassante, though. It's not going to be easy. And they're just going to drop the Rift Heralds, not really actually try to kill Zeus here, just try to pressure this bottom lane. And it's going to be big, especially once we do get to Baron territory. You know, put as much pressure down in the bottom lane as possible, maybe even break down an inhibitor, then you've got a lot of pressure on that very important objective. But it's Hextech Soul, which I didn't even realize.
No, because there's been we didn't talk about the fact Deft also has Gone Teleport and Beryl went for heal, right? So that also gives you a ton of utility when you get to the mid to late game. You can park Deft in a side lane. This would be big, but no. And this early on, I don't think the Zeri really has a realistic chance of stealing this. But this is the first relevant soul. And Ezreal and Azir with Hextech Soul. Who cares if you don't have, you know,
Skarner, not much vision at all here for T1.
Oh, they know. Yeah, they have to flip it on this fight. It's all or nothing. I don't know if they can get to the pin in time. Owner can get there. No!
No, they're just not going to get there on time. It's just a Hextech Soul, just like that, and they want to take the fight after, but Zeus, he goes in, and you know what? He's trying to get on top of a Sonya's BDD, who is going to live for now. He goes in, he gets the sweep on to 2. As he gets pretty low, they take him down, but Pyosik's still alive.
No resets!
But no resets, and Guma now is shelling them down. How did T1 win this fight? How is this happening? As Perfect now all alone, he's going to be taken down, and T1 should get the Baron.
Oh, that is so much gold into the pockets of T1. Baron Bounty about to come up here, and it's the target. BDD gets his stopwatch, and then this is where the trouble begins. They can peel off here. They can just let's lose too much of the base, right? They gave up an individual lower as
here comes the combo. It's Beryl, and he's Braum, and he is very tanky, and he's actually going to get away. As now the two-shot barrage. Going to do a bunch of damage to Zeus and Guma, but yeah, a decent amount used to try to get Beryl there, but at the end of the day, he survives. It is going to take him out of the fight, and meanwhile, Faker utilizing that Baron buff in the top lane. Damage already on her, eating some damage from the Elder Drake. And it's going to come down to positioning and the way this fight is going to break out.
For KT, I think you want to play slow. Faker TPing to get pressure on the side wave. Join the rest of his team. Doesn't run the risk of getting caught.
XXL already getting some nice value with those Mystic shots. And KT, you know, they've dragged this Drake over to their side, and they're just allowing T1 to try to tank it up. As Keria looking for an engage, but he's getting extremely low, has to go into his ult. Now he has to engage, but it comes down to a flip, and it goes to Bioshik! As BDD goes in, immediately the Braum goes down, the supports are out, but the resets are coming in, and the Elder Drake is doing its job. Faker and Guma still alive, though, as now trying to go back in here. Zeus not sure about that, as Bioshik going to be able to take him down. The TP's coming in. KT, they get the Drake. Can they get the game?
Is that going to be it? Zeus going back in there. I don't think he ever gets out. Was so close to killing Bioshik. Bioshik, I think, got the ult on Q3 there. Even with the Elder buff.
Oh, they're going
there. It was
there.
a tough one. Yeah, they have to. There are still two great sources of wave clear available. The health bars are low, and if they run the risk of losing, they can't afford to. And it is Challengers, baby!
It's Challengers, baby.
Just an Elder flip. Keria tries so hard to keep Bioshik out, but he ults in, gets the smite, and then the fact that the fight is even remotely close, testament to T1's ability to fight Guma. I imagine his damage numbers after that one are going to be off the
I think
chart.
they can end the game really on this. Let's see. I mean, this top inhibitor should definitely go down, right? Double buff. We get the cool colors going on. We got Exodia here. And T1 can't really fight this yet. The TP's going to come in as well, just 100%.
Oh, I'd love it. KT, just send it. Try to end it.
20
Look at
seconds.
the Hextech burn.
20 seconds. They got the burn. They got the Hextech. They're trying to go for these Nexus turrets. But the wave is cleared.
10 seconds.
Kind of. I mean, this Nexus turret is going to go down. And KT looking for the end. And 3 seconds to 1. No Elder buff left, but the damage is ticking. And down will go Zeus. Keria extremely low, and finally he did it impale. He impaled an enemy. He finally did it, and KT, they will finally get a big win here in the LCK as they take down T1 at their own T1 home ground and get the biggest upset I think we've had all season.